So I suppose one of the first questions that somebody's going to ask is, what happens if I don't have a mobile device? Well, every system, every part of the show that uses a show ID has a manual backup method. So for the board game library, if you go and say, well, I don't have an account, then the first step is say, well, we can create you an account. So we'll take an email and a name, which we would do anyway for the board game library, and it will create an account and we will print a QR code. And that is your account QR code. That can then be used as your show ID throughout the show and is linked to that account that we've just created for you. It will also email you an email asking you to complete the account setup by putting in a password and therefore giving you a functioning account on the website. However, the QR code will still work in the meantime. You don't have to complete that setup. It will just function as a show ID that you can use either temporarily or you can activate the account and then use it going forward in the future. In addition to this, if you don't have a device, then you can go to either the Hilton help desk where the RPGs are coordinated from, or the event desk in Hall 1, which is where the tournaments are, and they will print you an A4 sheet. That A4 sheet will have your show ID on it and a list of any tickets, etc. that you've bought. So again, if you were going to somewhere where they're not going to scan the ticket, they're just going to visually verify it, on that A4 sheet will be the list of everything you've bought currently. Again, unlike the show ID on your device, it doesn't keep up to date. So if you purchase something else, then you'd have to go back and get your sheet reprinted. But it is a way of functioning without a mobile device at the show. However, the key issue is that we will be continuing to use the show IDs as much as possible. There are other ways that we can search for your account and check it out, but those are quite slow processes and using a show ID is important. If you don't want to print it at show, you can print this at home. So if you decide I'm not going to use a device, I have to say when I go on holiday, I print everything out so that I'm not, where I've got a crappy mobile signal, etc. Everything gets printed. I have it in a folder like an old bloke because I am an old bloke. And then I know I've got it there. So, my insurance policies, my tickets, all of that gets printed. Well, you can do that before you come to show. So the night before you come to show, you can go onto your account on the website, and there is a button next to your show ID that says print your show ID. And that will print your show ID. It does display your show ID code, so this is less secure because of course we can't interactively hide it, and the list of everything you've bought, so you can print that and then bring that with you. So if you want to use a printed version, we understand, we don't really mind, and to be perfectly honest, the scanner's like a piece of paper more than it does a mobile phone, but that's just a techie issue. So you can print it, or you can use your device, and but we will still be using the show ID to interact with all of the various things at the show. I hope this has been useful for you, and that you find that it's a much more uniform experience when you come to show. That you're not having to get a board game library card and do a thing with the bring and buy, and then the vote and awards has a slightly different system. Hopefully this will just give you a uniform way of doing things, so that and as we bring new features online at the show, we'll be incorporating this show ID into those features to give you an ongoing consistent experience. It also keeps a history of what you've done at the show, so you can look back and you can schedule your events within the app. So really the key thing is to make sure that you download the app and install that, because that will make things much simpler. It has the interactive map, which if you've downloaded it on your phone, it pre-installs. So again, it's not trying to go via the internet at busy times to get that. So there are lots of advantages to doing that. And honestly, it's not a marketing tool. It is really there because we think this will give you a better experience. And certainly it will save us printing 12 to 14,000 bits of paper each year and producing several thousand library cards that all end up in the bin at the end of the day. So, we try to keep our carbon footprint as small as possible, and this is another way of helping. Look, thank you for that, and we look forward to seeing you at the show, and all of my electronics will be looking forward to seeing your show ID. Thank you very much.